I love when coaches, consultants, and professional service providers want to do big things in their business. They want to rise to the top and influence their market and the world around them. They want to have a greater impact and make a more lucrative income. Well, if this is you, welcome to Expert in You podcast, the show where I interview other experts and coaches, consultants, so that they can share their success strategies with you. We're going to talk about marketing and how to close more sales, how to get more premium clients, and how to really build your visibility in the market and scale your business like a boss. If this is you, welcome to the show. I want to ask you to subscribe and hit the notification bell right now so you don't miss one episode. Grab your coffee and buckle up because we are ready to give it all to you to help you become the expert and get paid as the expert that you are. Hi, everyone. I want to welcome you back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Carden. Oh my goodness, you are going to love my guest this week because I love her. So what can I say? I have Nancy Erickson with me today. And Nancy first of all, she's amazing and you're going to love hearing from her, but she is an award-winning publisher. And Nancy has a wide array of business expertise. She formerly worked for both IBM and Oracle corporations, selling high-end software solutions to Fortune 500 companies. She was faced with a family crisis in 2006. She changed her career direction, went back to school to get her master's degree in writing, taught at the university level, and started the award-winning nonfiction publishing house, Stonebrook Publishing. In 2010, she developed a step-by-step process to help entrepreneurs, business owners, and other experts, speakers, coaches who want to help them expand their business by writing a nonfiction book. And here's the thing that she does very differently. She helps them be able to repurpose that book, write it in a way that it repurposes it into other revenue producing products. And so Nancy, welcome to my show.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Well, you are singing my song that you help them write a book and then they can turn that into other revenue producing products because, of course, I help people do that. And I love that. That isn't something you actually do, but you get the book.
Right. It's all set up for that. And so I think, Anne, we're so closely aligned on so many things.
I know.
I really believe in doing things right the first time. And so our process to write a nonfiction book allows that. But then you should be able to take that intellectual property and make it more. And I know that that's where you come in and do some things along those lines and stuff. So, entrepreneurs, we have limited time and we don't have time to waste. So our clients have found that this works really well for them to both do it right the first time and then to get other products out of it.
And I really want to dig into this too, Nancy, because first of all, I absolutely love what you're doing. And I was a client of Nancy's many, many years ago Nancy.
I looked back today and it was in 2017.
What was it? Oh, I said it was way before that.
Or 2016.
It had to have been
was earlier than that?
That's not right. No.
Okay. All right. Well, a long time ago.
Space. Yeah. I know it's been probably 10 years.
Oh, okay.
When I wrote my first book.
Yeah.
And so yes, I was one of Nancy's clients and that's how I actually got to know Nancy. We're in the same local market and we got to know each other through networking. And then I actually worked with her when I did my first book, but her business has also really evolved as mine has as well. And so it's really fun to see what you're doing now because I remember Nancy, I'm going to go back here for a minute.
Okay.
And I remember our very first conversation when you got on a call with me and you said, what is your goal for your book? Right. And I said, I want to get on more stages. I want to write it for credibility. I also want it to be a piece that can help people in their businesses. And that right there, Nancy, is gold because a lot of people do not write a book that is going to further their business or further their revenue.
Right.
They write a book. It doesn't a lot of times even further their speaking career if that's what they're trying to do, because they're writing something that's motivational. And like people are not looking to spend money to bring in motivational speakers any longer. Corporations are not looking for that. They're looking for content rich speakers, and they're looking for people that can bring real value to their organization. And so I love that this is the space that you're working in, because it's such a credibility builder when you have a book that leads people right to you for your
your book should do three things for you, Anne. It should establish you as an expert. It should increase your credibility and help attract a following. And you have to have that in mind at the beginning. And a lot of people who write a book, they just start writing, and gosh, it's so hard. You got all this stuff in your head. It's just bouncing around in there, and you just start throwing it on the page, and invariably you get tangled up. And most people at that stage just like shove it in a drawer and think this isn't going to work. But if you have a process, just like anything else, if you have a way to go step by step by step by step, that's something that you can follow. And it's a shortcut to achieving those goals.
Yes, 100%. And I will say you made the process extremely easy. When I worked with you, you had a very dialed in process. And I think, if you don't do anything in today's marketplace with a strategy, you're flailing. You're going to flail. You're going to wing it. You're going to go down a lot of rabbit holes, you waste a lot of time and money, and you don't have much to show for it. Right.
Yes,
absolutely. And I wonder how many people start writing a book, they have the best intention, but then the book never gets done. But you are really working in a very different space from a lot of publishers that are just helping people get a book published. You are very specific and targeted about who your ideal people are. I love that.
Yeah, so we work with entrepreneurs and coaches and speakers and business owners, people who are working to expand their brand and their business, because you know this well. If you want a bigger audience, you need a bigger platform. You have to be able to get outside of your little circle to deliver your message in different ways and meet the market where they're already engaged. So we have all those things in mind, and that's what we lead our clients through. And they find that serves them really well. They have a great structure to work within, and it's chunked in a way that they can actually accomplish it and get finished. Because I don't want people to start. I want you to finish. I want your book out there,
And do something with it, right? Make it work. Like you can build $1 million plus business.
Yes, show the expert in you.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. One of the things too that I think it's important that people know, and I would love to talk to you. You and I both met because we were locally networking. I was running another business at the time. Or no, I think I had just come into the coaching space. Obviously, that's why I was writing the book. But we met at a networking event, but you are international. I'm international.
Yes.
You've evolved. I've evolved.
Right.
And one of the things that I love about what you're doing is, and you said it best, is you have to expand if you're going to really grow. And one of the things that I found is, I'm sure you did, you have to get beyond your local market. That's where the big opportunity is.
Yes.
Do you agree with
Well,
that?
and part of that reason is, and we've talked about this before, it's like, in your own local market, you're like, oh, that's just Anne, that's just Nancy. But if I'm in a city 100 miles away, they're like, that she's here, and, we just value strangers sometimes more than our own local folks. But we do have a lot of local clients. But when we form our groups and our masterminds to write books, we find that the cohort is mainly national and international. I had a client in Bali and had clients in India and all sorts of places. So that's fun. But, my joy is to help somebody who has this idea and to really crystallize that message and to be able to articulate it in a way that's both informational and entertaining, because you have to keep the reader reading, and to come out with a high impact professional product, because you are developing a product, and it's not some slap together thing where your kids do the cover. We're into the professional aspect of everything that we do, and it starts with the writing.
Yes. I absolutely love it because again, you not only are a master in your space and in your industry, but you are also really a master in the business space in this way. Because again, I do know people that do this, but not to the degree. They don't typically have publishing companies per se. Look at her wall back there. If you can't, obviously, if you're listening to the audio version, you cannot see, but her wall is filled with book covers.
And that's just one wall. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. You've been doing this so many years since. When did you? 2011 was when you started your company. So that is a lot of years and a lot of books.
A lot of books.
Nancy, do you help people do in a year?
It takes a while to do it. So, and then it takes a while to do the publishing. So we're issuing about 35 books a year. And that we know we're a niche publisher. And that's a big, when you multiply that over the years, the amount of attention that we give to each client and the hand holding takes a lot of our resources and such. So we pride ourselves in really holding your hand and making your message come alive for the market. So we're proud of our authors, and they win a lot of awards. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it, love it, love it. So Nancy, let's talk about how they can expand their book into other revenue streams and walk us kind of through that process.
Well, let's kind of back up a little bit and let me tell you about the process that we take you through, because I think you're going to really like it.
Perfect.
I like it when people come to us when they have an idea for a book, or they they want to write a book and they don't know what their idea is. That works too. So what we start off with is a series of foundational questions that really help you to crystallize your message. And they're questions like, why are you even doing this? What's your motivation? Who is your audience very specifically? And how will the audience be changed as a result of taking in your material? So there's 12 of these questions, and then we end up just distilling them down into a purpose statement for your book. And that purpose statement is it's a single sentence. It says, the purpose of this book is to do this particular thing for this specific audience, period. You cannot put everything you know in a book. As you know, Anne, because you have a lot of books. You can't put everything you know in a single book. It wouldn't, you just can't do it. So that purpose statement helps you to prioritize the material that will go in your book. So whenever you're thinking about, I'm going to include this, measure it against that purpose statement. Does it deliver the audience to the purpose? If yes, it's in. If no, set it aside. It's a great idea for something else.
Right.
But once we have that purpose statement as the foundation of your book, then we start building the structure around it. And I advocate for a process called book mapping that I developed, where it ends up being a visual representation of everything in your book. And so like mind maps for each chapter.
Right.
And there's two forms of these. One is your own personal story, because, people can't learn from you if they don't know you. It used to be that could happen, where you could say you're the expert on this and just, kind of pontificate, but that doesn't fly anymore. You need to be able to show people how you're in the position you are in now in order to, to teach them these things. So you kind of tell them where you've been and what happened, and expose some of your foibles and stuff along the way, but so that you're a real person to them. And then in the chapters, the maps that make up your chapters, we construct those in a way that is very friendly to the reader. What do they want to know? What are they needing? And so we build your chapters in problem solution sets. And you just start off by naming the problems your clients have, your readers would have. And then through a very story-driven methodology, you present your solutions. So stories. And about stories, that's what keeps people interested. That's how we learn and remember things. So at the end, when your book is finished and published, each chapter, what are chapters? Chapters are simply containers for information.
Right.
And so you're going to have 12 or 15 chapters about a different problem that you solve. And that's where you can take your material and each one of those chapters and repurpose it for things like maybe keynote speeches or a workshop or a seminar or video training or online courses or podcasts. And that gives you've got a head start on developing other products that relate to your client and will help them along their way.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
And it's also, Anne, you hear a lot about building your brand and branding and all that stuff. And you and I've been through that ourselves and had pretty solid brands. Mm-hmm. But this helps you to build your brand. You can take those elements from your book and from the design of your book cover and carry it through to your other products. Yep, you've done it. And it's all over your wall back behind you.
Yes.
And this is all important to get your stamp on things and your voice in there so that people recognize you.
I like to think of a book almost as an anchor. You set a foundation to your brand. It is. It's like an anchor to your brand. When I started with The Expert in You, it started with my book. My book was called The Expert in You. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I built it out into a podcast, into my courses and my programs, and the way I consult and coach people, and probably even going to launch a magazine.
That's cool. And you're really active on LinkedIn. And whenever I see Expert in You, now that you have permeated, the all these platforms with that, I know who that is immediately. I can see your logo and that's Anne. There's Anne again.
I love that. But so to your point, it is the start of such a powerful brand, and it builds credibility, it builds authority, it sets you apart. I always say when people can look, when they can read your book and they can look right into maybe the struggles you've had or how you've helped clients or what your expertise is, and they can look at it with a fine-tooth comb like that, nothing influences people more to want to buy. So many people try to hide their stuff.
I know. Well, we don't want you to do that. We want you to want to show everything. And that kind of brings up something else that's bouncing around quite loudly. And that's the idea of having AI write your book. And people are always looking for a shortcut for things. Do not do that. Do not let Chat GPT write your book. But number one, it's not you. You can't copyright it because you didn't write it. But the other thing is that as business owners, the base foundation of our businesses is integrity.
Oh, I love that you're talking about this.
And with the clients I work with, and you do too, if they don't have that, then we don't work together.
Yes.
But so what I want to encourage people to do is just set that aside and let your voice come through. Let your voice come through. And we teach you how to do that so that you're loud and clear, and that, that you are able to reach people with the true essence of yourself. Because people are looking, we have a very virtual world. People are looking to connect.
Yes.
And it's a little harder to do that in the book, but you can do it. And we teach you how.
Yes. I think that's so, so true. And people, and I get tired of hearing, people want you to be authentic. I know you hear that. You get tired of hearing things, but it really is true. And what you said about the integrity piece there is nothing to me that is more important in business than integrity.
Exactly. In all my relationships.
Yes, absolutely. And you help people, literally catapult their expert brand, their credibility, their authority. And here's what I will tell you. True experts have integrity.
They do.
It is a character trait of theirs. They give a good client experience. If you're an expert, you give a good client experience. You're an expert, Nancy. There's no doubt about that. And I think that having all of that foundation it's such a such a great starting point for people to carry that all the way through their business.
And to demonstrate that through their business and products. And so that's why when I talk about the professionalism, people, and I want to talk about the professional publishing arm, Stonebrook Publishing, a little bit, because it's really important to work with experts, especially on something like this. So people give me their self-published books a lot. And 9 times out of 10, number one, it's like amazing that they wrote a book. But 9 times out of 10, I can look at that product and I can think, please don't give that to anyone else. You don't know, there's really some strong conventions in publishing. And Anne, you know them by now because you published so many books, but it all starts with the editing and the writing, but there's, you want to make sure, just because you don't know, because not you, Anne, but you, audience, you don't know about publishing because that's not what you do.
Right.
And there are a lot of things that are involved that even though you don't know them, other people do. And you can expose yourself as not being professional by throwing things together or letting your kids design the cover or letting someone on Fiverr design your cover. Right. So we always, this is kind of what I like to do for myself. I always like to make myself look a little bit better than I really think I am. so, and that there's my little imposter syndrome coming through, but you should, and then it gives you something kind of to work for, to work toward. Mm-hmm. So we are very, we've got lots of fabulous designers for both the covers and the layout. And then we take it all the way through to do the legal work to register your copyright with the Library of Congress. And your book should, like our books do, like Anne's book do, be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with anything out there on the market. And that's the kind of experience that we provide.
I love it. I absolutely love it. What haven't we talked about that you want to hit on or that you would like to bring into this podcast today?
I would like to tell you that number one, you're the only one who has your story and your experience. So you're the only one who can do it. And even though others may have written some things about your topic, they're not you. They don't have your supportive stories and your experiences to share. Sometimes people will say, yeah, well, who am I to write a book? And I'm like, who are you to keep it to yourself? I mean, I believe that we're here to help other people. Otherwise, you and I we wouldn't be in the businesses that we're in.
Right.
And we can help other people by offering them 2 things. And those 2 things are hope and help. And when you write a book that either shows what your expertise is, what you've overcome, what you've developed, then you become the source of those things that for other people. So that's one thing I wanted to say. The other thing I want to say is it's never too late. You are never too old. And it's never too late to get started. And it's not even too early. Even early stage entrepreneurs can help build their business and their brand by going through this process. On the never too late thing, in my little bio, I talked about how I went back to school to get a master's degree. I was in my late 40s then. And my kids were out of college. And then, mom's back in school and kind of thing. I graduated with my master's degree when I was 50. And so, I'm turning 65 this year, which is hard to believe, but I'm glad I'm still here. But it's never too late. I have all that business experience from high-tech corporate business experience that I carry into my consultations with my clients. So, nobody has your story, and I encourage you to dive in.
I love that. And, a couple of things too that I want to hit on is when you talk about no one having your story, I also think if you're looking to build a business, I see a lot of things out there in the online world. And one of the things that I see a lot of people saying is you don't need a book. You don't need a book to build your business, to grow your business. And if you're only going to play in a Facebook community, you probably don't.
Yeah, you don't.
But if you're going to build a real business with real people.
Yeah. You don't. Okay. Let's take that a step further. Okay. Let's say you don't need a book. What are you going to do? What are you going to do instead to to build a platform and to get outside your circle and have more influence.
But
I think it's harder to do it other ways.
But here's where a lot of people, I feel like they end up going down the wrong path, especially in the coaching consulting space. There's a lot of people. You and I are both on LinkedIn and we're very active on LinkedIn, but I have also been very active on Facebook, and the stuff that I see out there, you don't need a website, you don't need a book. I see that over and over again. I see a lot of coaches out there pitching that, but the reason they're pitching that is because typically they don't have one. That's first. And the second thing is they're trying to sell their stuff, that you don't need any of those things. But the thing is, it goes back to, what is the purpose? What is your strategy for building your business? What is your strategy? Where do you want to take your business? Where do you want that to go? And if you're only going to build on Facebook, then a book's probably not going to matter in the long run.
Right. But the people who can build on Facebook are selling like products, like, skincare kind of stuff.
Or they're selling how to build on Facebook.
Yeah. Right. But if you're playing in the business world, if you're a coach,
exactly,
you're a consultant,
yes,
you go where your clients are, and they're on LinkedIn and in other places, and they want to see you as a leader in your space. And one of the things is, I don't like to invest in anything that I can't continue to build upon. And so any strategy, and I've learned this, but any strategy that I embrace is something that I can build on into something even greater throughout time. And this is certainly something that allows you to do that.
Oh, 100%. I am, I'm a fan of yours, first of all, but I am 100% with you. I think it is the the cornerstone, the foundation, whatever you want to say, the anchor to really having a powerful brand. And in my opinion, playing in the expert world. Yeah.
Well, and you've experienced that yourself, right?
Oh, 100%. I can't tell you.
What have your books done for you?
Oh, well, first of all, my Expert in You book is really a roadmap for my programs. I mean, it's a roadmap. It's what I take people through my process. But it's helped me get on stages. It's helped me get clients. It's helped me get on podcasts. I mean, I just signed up a $40,000 client because he heard me on an author's podcast about being an author. And then he checked me out, and that's how it works. Had I not been an author, I wouldn't have been on that person's podcast.
Well, the other thing too, my book is about how to write a book. It's my process. Your Expert in You is about how to do it. And you know what people find? They can read it and they're like, well, okay, you gave me everything. Can I have you now? Can I hire you?
What you want. That's right.
And it pulls them back to you. Because yes, they could do that, but they won't. We need structure and accountability and help, a little hand-holding along the way.
Absolutely. 100%. This has been so much fun. And Nancy and I are going to be doing some things together. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. Some fun things. And I can't think of a better person to spend time with and to partner with than you, Nancy, because you have just impressed me from the very first time I met you. Your poise, your professionalism, who you are as a person, your kind heart. I mean, I could go on and on about you.
Oh, thank you. I
really could.
Well, keep going on and on. I kind of like it.
Okay.
No, I appreciate that, Anne, and it's mutual.
You are just phenomenal. And I love, I remember too, just a little bit of side note here. I remember seeing, before I really got super active in the online world and became an international coach and consultant, I remember seeing that you were speaking on stages in other countries. And I was like, oh, that's so amazing. I was so, impressed by that. And so she's doing what she teaches people to do. And, I can't thank you enough for being here. This has been so much fun having you here and sharing
thank you, Anne.
Expertise. She is truly outstanding. And so, Nancy, let's talk about how people can work with you.
Well, I always like to have a conversation with people. I love to talk about your book ideas. So whatever's rattling around your head, and I know it's something, I'd like to just chat about your ideas with you. So if you go to my website, it's thebookprofessor.com. There across the top navigation, there's a link that says schedule a call with Nancy, and we'll just jump on and have a little video chat and get to know each other. And I can help you decide, do you have an idea that's worth pursuing in this manner? And I will tell you, if you don't, don't worry about that. But just don't hesitate. Thebookprofessor.com.
That's perfect. And we'll put all of your links and everything, your social links, everything with the podcast. So anything at all that you want to be able to drive people to, we'll make sure all those links are included as well. So anything else that you want to say to just wrap this up?
Yeah, no, I just keep going back to the fact that, I'm here to help you. This is what I only do one thing very well, and this is it. So I just keep doing it over and over again. And I know that I can take you all the way through to having an amazing book that will be to your credit and contribute to expanding your business.
Yes. And again, she is in the business and professional space, and not everyone is. A lot of publishers and people helping people write books they're kind of doing a lot of different types of books, but she has really built her expertise around this niche and being able to help people further their business and their expertise and all of that with their books. So again, thank you so much for being here. And until next time, everyone, you have an amazing and wonderful week, and reach out to Nancy, get that book done, and then let me help you build your business with that book. And you have no idea where something like that can go for you. It has opened, my books have opened so many doors for me that I never would have had opened had I not had those books. So I'm such an advocate for getting this done. So thank you again, Nancy. And
thanks, Sam.
Everyone, love you. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure you subscribe, share it, and leave any comments or feedback that you have. And until next week, you all have an amazing day. God bless you, and go rock your business. If you've enjoyed this episode, I want to invite you to go check out a free training that I have at expertinu.us. It is a training that I have on how you can get ultra premium dream clients, scale your business, get more freedom, and really simplify your business and multiply your money. So go check that out. And again, that is expertinu.us. I want to thank you for being here with me this week. I hope you found massive value. Please always leave a comment, feedback, or a question. We check them all. And I want you to go rock your business, and make sure you join us again next week. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.